Hi, I am Shyamala, Assistant Professor of Mathematics in Nalla Narasimha Reddy Education Society's group of institutions. In this video, I am going to discuss about elementary theorems in probability, which are there in the first unit. First, I discuss about probability axiomatic approach. Definition: let S be a finite sample space. A real valued function p from the power set of S into R is called a probability function on S if the following three axioms are satisfied. We have a function p which is from the sample space to the real numbers, and that function should satisfy these three following axioms. So the axioms of probability are: first one is axiom of positivity. P of E greater than or equal to 0 for every subset E of S. So if we take any event E, probability of that event should be always greater than or equal to 0. It will never be negative. So that is the first axiom. Second one, axiom of certainty. That is, probability of sample space is equal to 1. Usually the probability definition is probability of an event E equal to number of elements in the event E by number of elements in the sample space. So here the event is nothing but the sample space only. So we will get n of S by n of S, which is equal to 1. So probability of sample space is also always equal to 1. Next, axiom of union. If E1, E2 are disjoint subsets of S, then probability of E1 union E2 equal to P of E1 plus P of E2. We know that disjoint sets means there are no common elements between E1 and E2. In that case, probability of E1 union E2 is simply P of E1 plus P of E2. The image of P of E is called the probability of the event E. E is called the event, P of E is called the probability of the event. This is the probability axiomatic approach definition. Now we discuss the elementary theorems. If A, B belongs to a field and A intersection B equal to phi, then probability of A union B equal to P of A plus P of B. So we have A union B is actually A union B union with some null sets. Phi is a null set. So B union phi and so on. So B union phi is nothing but B only. So there is nothing wrong in writing like this. Now applying probability on this, P of A union B is P of A plus P of B plus and so on. Because why we are writing P of A plus P of B and so on is A union B, A and B are disjoint sets, it is given here. So by using third axiom, we can write P of A plus P of B plus P of phi, and probability of null set is 0. Probability of sample space is 1. So P of A union B, we got P of A plus P of B. Now the second theorem, probability of A complement is 1 minus P of A. First of all, we know that A union A complement is S. A and its complement. Union of those two gives us the sample space S. Then applying probability on this, P of A union A complement is P of S. We know probability of S equal to 1, and we know that A and A complement are disjoint sets. So again we use third axiom. So we get P of A plus P of A complement equal to 1. Therefore P of A equal to 1 minus P of A complement, or P of A complement is 1 minus P of A. Now the third theorem, P of A intersection B complement equal to P of A minus P of A intersection B. So let us see this diagram. In this we have A and B two sets, and see, A intersection B complement means only this blue part. Intersection with A intersection B complement union with this A intersection B gives us the whole set A. The whole set A equal to A intersection with B complement. So this is the whole set B. The remaining all part is B complement. So A intersection B complement means only this blue part will come. Union with this A intersection B gives us the whole set A. Now let us write the probability on this. P of A intersection B complement union A intersection B equal to P of A. Now if we see this diagram, A intersection B complement, this blue and this purple one, both are disjoint sets. That's why we can use third axiom when we write that P of A intersection B complement plus P of A intersection B equal to P of A. So P of A intersection B complement is P of A minus P of A intersection B. And similarly we can show that P of A complement intersection B is P of B minus P of A intersection B. In that case we have to write about the set B, which is nothing but A intersection B union with B intersection A complement, and apply the probability on that, then we will get this result. Next, addition theorem on probability, which is P of A union B equal to P of A plus P of B minus P of A intersection B. We need to prove this. First, A union B means this full elements and elements on in this both will come. So A union B is actually A complement intersection B, that means only this blue circle, and then union with A intersection B, union with B intersection A intersection B complement. So this is A intersection B complement and this is A complement intersection B. We have written in the reverse way, but both are same. Now apply probability on them. Then P of A union B equal to P of A complement intersection B union A intersection B union A intersection B complement. If we observe the diagram, all the three sets are disjoint sets. That's why we can use third axiom again. P of A complement intersection B plus P of A intersection B plus P of A intersection B complement. And just now we have seen P of A complement intersection B formula is P of B minus P of A intersection B. This we write as it is. P of A intersection B complement is P of A minus P of A intersection B. These two will get cancelled. P of A intersection B minus P of A intersection B will get cancelled. Remaining is P of B plus P of A minus P of A intersection B. Now the basic problems on probability. What is the probability for a leap year to have 52 Mondays and 53 Sundays? First of all, a leap year has 366 days. Divided by 7, then we will get 52 weeks and 2 days. The 2 days can be Monday and Tuesday, Tuesday and Wednesday, Wednesday and Thursday, Thursday and Friday, Friday, Saturday, Saturday, Sunday, Sunday, Monday. Our question is we have to get 52 Mondays and 53 Sundays. So for that we have only one chance. Let E be the event of having 52 Mondays and 53 Sundays in the year. Total number of possible cases we have written here 7. These are the 7 possible cases. So total number of possible cases are 7. Number of favorable cases to our event 52 Mondays and 53 Sundays is m equal to 1. That event is Saturday and Sunday is the only favorable case. In this case we will have only one Sunday will be added. That's why we will have 53 Sundays and 52 Mondays will be as it is. Now probability of E equal to m by n, 1 by 7. Next problem. In a class there are 10 boys and 5 girls. A committee of 4 students is to be selected from the class. Find the probability for the committee to contain at least 3 girls. So there are totally 15 members are there in the class. We have to make a committee of 4 students. In that at least 3 girls should be there. So first of all we have to take 4 students from the 15 total students. So that number of ways of taking 4 students from 15 is 15C4 ways. That is the total number of exhaustive ways. So n equal to 15C4. Now E is the event of forming a committee with at least 3 girls. So that committee can have 3 girls or more than 3 girls also. Now the committee can have 1 boy 3 girls or no boy all the 4 girls. So these are the two chances here to have at least 3 girls. So So the number of ways of forming the committee equal to number of favorable ways. So what is that? See, in this case 1 boy 3 girl means there are 10 boys. From that we have to take only 1 boy, 10C1, into these 3 girls we have to take from the 5 girls, so 5C3. This is one way of having at least 3 girls. And another way is no boy 4 girls plus no boy. So 10C0 into 5C4. 10C1 is 10 into 5C3 10. 10 times 100 plus 5C4 value 5. So 105. It is a M value. Now probability of E equal to M by N. 105 by 15C4. By calculating this we will get this answer. Now another problem. 3 cards are drawn from a pack of 52 cards. Find the probability that 3 are spades, 2 spades 1 diamond, 1 spade 1 diamond 1 heart. The solution: number of possible ways of drawing 3 cards from the pack of 52 cards is 52C3. So this is the total number of exhaustive cases for all these 3 cases. Now we are going for the first problem, probability of getting 3 spades. So there are 13 spades in the 52 cards. So from the 13 spades we have to take 3 spades. That's why our answer is favorable cases are 13C3 out of 52C3. Calculating it we will get this answer. Next, probability of 2 spades 1 diamond. 2 spades, so there are 13 spades. From that we have to take 2, so 13C2 into 1 diamond. There are 13 diamonds in the pack of 52 cards, so into 13C1 by 52C3. So this is the answer. Next, probability of 1 spade 1 diamond 1 heart. So there are 13 spades, 13 diamonds, 13 hearts. From that we have to take 1 card from each. So 13C1 into 13C1 into 13C1 by 52C3 gives us this answer. Next, a bag contains, next problem, a bag contains 5 red balls, 8 blue balls and 11 white balls. 3 balls are drawn together from the box. Find the probability that 1 is red, 1 is blue and 1 is white. 2 white, 1 red, 3 white. So the solution, so here if we add 5, 8 and 11 we get 24 balls. From that we have to take 3. So these are the total number of exhaustive cases. Now coming to each case. Probability of 1 red, 1 blue, 1 white. So that is red 5 are there. From that we have to take only 1. So 5C1 into blue 8 are there. So 8C1 into 11 white are there, 11C1 by 24C3. Calculating it we get this answer. Next, probability of 2 white and 1 red. 2 white, so there are 11 white. From that we have to take 2, so 11C2 into 1 red, 5C1 actually this one by 24C3. Next, probability of 3 white. 3 white is 11C3 by 24C3, which is this answer. So these are the basic problems in probability. In the next video we are going to discuss about some more important topics on probability. Thank you.